Questions, guys? Anyone got questions?
What is each of your respective favorite projects that you've done so far? What's the best experience, the best time you've had as an actor? No pandering either.
In terms of adventure, working on Xena was my favorite because it was in New Zealand, which was probably the most beautiful place I've ever been able to visit. And it was just an incredibly lovely group of people to work with, and it was just a fun adventure. Other than that, I would say I shot a short film that was called Lakeshore Drive. That it was super glamorous. It took place in the late 50s, and it was just this period in history that I'm a bit obsessed with. So I loved it for that reason. And again, I was fortunate to work with just an incredible group of people. So that would be my choice.
I'm going to have to eat this microphone a little bit because I'm kind of hoarse today. As far as I have a favorite feature film, my favorite feature was a movie I did in 2001 called Black Hawk Down, which was a very, very powerful film directed by Ridley Scott. And in television, it happens to be the job that I've been doing for the last 7 years. I'm 24. And 24 actually ties with another series that I had a recurring role on a different network called Friday Night Lights. And 24, my reason for loving it so much is because of its standard is so high, standard of excellence. And Friday Night Lights, the reason I love that show so much is because they do not rehearse, ever. And I've been making movies for 34 years. I've never been on a set where you do not rehearse. They simply have 3 cameras rolling, and the extent of the discussion about the scene, they don't even read through the scene first, is you and your son are doing a scene that will take place in your son's bedroom. Go. And I love it, and the acting in it is tremendous because of that.
Jason Cave. Truly excellent. Great friend of Ron Moore's too. They're all linked. I think that we were talking about this over the last 2 days, is that all of this work has changed. I mean, Ridley's one of the greatest film directors of all time, period. Again, my dad, duelist, really. He goes back to those days. I think it's but television has changed so much that we're really beginning to appreciate the fact that the 30 and 40-year-olds who are creating the television shows that we're making are basically the fans of the same stuff as us. I mean, they have the same love of sci-fi, the same love of drama, the same love of great story that we do. And this is a really interesting time for television. I mean, network, it's a lot harder to do. I'm amazed that Joel and Bob got 24 done the way they did. I had a great time on 24, being chased around by these people. But it's changed. The whole format has changed. The world has changed in television so much. Is that there are great storytellers, you know, from Battlestar to I'm doing a show called Leverage right now, which is an amazing television show to do. And it's a bunch of guys and girls that are huge TV fans. I mean, their biggest draw to that show is the Rockford Files. The thing they hold up to want that show to be as good as is the Rockford Files. And, you know, it's just great. I mean, 24 is just one of those perennially well done shows. The logistics of that show, I've never seen anything like it in my life. I mean, I don't know. I've shot 4 episodes on the same day. I've shot scenes from 4 episodes on the same day, and they knew what they were doing. It's like mind-blowing, but it's a really that's fun. But it's an amazing time to be working in television. Anybody else?
I have a question for you. If Firefly had continued, would Badger have been a character that would have recurred more often? And if so, do you have any idea what would have happened with him?
Yeah, I mean, I did a series called Firefly for Joss Whedon, and what's amazing about it is 15 episodes were shot, 13 I think were aired, and it has such an enormous fan base for a show that had 13 episodes that they managed to get a film made out of it. They managed to get a $50 million film made out of the fact that the fans just would not let it die. It would not die. It's the show that just will not die.
It's a great show.
Yeah, it's great. Of course, it's a great show. Absolutely, it's a great show. It's you know, it's the Outlaw Josie Wales meets Blade Runner. I had a great conversation with Joss when I first started shooting. He was like, hey, he's like, yeah, I thought of doing like Wagon Train in space till somebody said that's what Star Trek is. It's a lovely idea. So, well, in space, you know, it's great to have spaceships and laser guns and all that stuff, but not everyone can afford them. What you really need is a really good hat and a dog. So it's that wonderful dichotomy between having the technology and using the technology. And he built a world that was fascinating. I think it goes back to what I was just saying, is that the worlds that these guys are building, be it BSG, be it Firefly, be it any of these things, are kind of amazing. They're inhabitable and they really strike to the imagination. I think, I don't know what would have happened with Firefly. I think season 2 would have been incredible. But, you know, I played the character that Joss wrote for himself, so of course I'd have been in it. That was the fun part of it.
Don't be bashful, leap into the water. We're all just here to cuddle for a short period of time. Yes?
Morshower?
Yes.
You said you did motivational speaking.
I do indeed.
What sort of stuff do you talk about?
Thank you, first of all, for asking that. It is the love of my life. I was that guy, let me back up and give you a little history to this. I was that guy in grade school, and by the way, Dallas is my hometown. I live in Los Angeles, I have for 34 years, so I have defected, but it was only because my career awaited me in LA. I love Dallas, love the Lone Star State, but in junior high and in high school in Dallas, I was the guy that while others were doing bong hits, they would come up to me to, in fact, the way it went, if I may act it out, they would say, hey, we need to go get stoned and hang out with Glenn. And Glenn is a 2-syllable word in Texas. It's a 2-syllable name for you folks from different parts of the world. It's Glenn. And so I was that guy that people came to with their problems, with whatever it was, with dating, with just an absence of joy in their life. And that was just a natural role that I fell into. I thought that I would either be an actor, a therapist, or a minister.